Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back once again to Fat Cat Collections. And today I want to share with you guys another great device, another smart home tech device for your connected home. And it is this bad boy right here. Nope, just kidding. That was one I reviewed the other day. So today we're going to talk about its counterpart, so to speak, or its best friend. And this is the same brand by Teckin. This is their dimmable in-wall switch. And so basically it's exactly like the other switch that I reviewed the other day with the ability to dim your light up and down. Again, most of the time a dimmable switch is only going to be on a dimmable product. Some folks have used dimmers on ceiling fans. Again, it depends on your fan and in your situation, which is nice to be able to control the speed of the fan. I don't know if all fans are the same. I'm not sure if mine is compatible. It is something I've toyed with maybe changing out to change the speed of the fan. So we'll see at a later date. I'll come back and re-review with what I found out about that with my situation and show you guys what's up with that. For today, we're just going to be talking about lights. So as far as the features on this, you know, some of these videos can get a little bit long-winded because a lot of times you want to talk great about the product. You want to show, you know, its features, its actions, its benefits. But at the end of the day, it's still just a wall switch. And I've reviewed so many of these devices. There's so many other YouTubers reviewing this stuff. But it's important to know that they all pretty much do the same thing. I always say what's important is go with something that has the best value. Because if you go into like some of your big box stores, in my opinion, there's not a lot of difference between this stuff. And the price has really come down. For instance, when I first wanted to add a smart dimmer to one of my lights, one of my fixtures in my bathroom, I went with Z-Wave. I had to go buy a smart home hub, and ultimately, at the end of the day, I hardly have any Z-Wave products. Now, Z-Wave is a different protocol than a Wi-Fi. It's a different protocol than, I believe, Zigbee, and it's a different protocol than X10, the old school wireless, and even Insteon, I think it's its own thing. Again, I'm not the expert when it comes to all the different brands or all the different protocols, but I've used X10, I've used Z-Wave, and I've used Wi-Fi. Again, I will tell you that Z-Wave is a reliable connection and your network is completely separate from your Wi-Fi network. You do have a hub which controls that. So like my Samsung SmartThings hub is what is connected to Wi-Fi. The signals come from me, let's say my phone, my voice, through that device into Wi-Fi and then through the hub, and the hub controls those Z-Wave devices. Pros, less devices on your network. So if your network is becoming you know, kind of bogged down. Again, I've talked about, you know, having the proper network in place to support all these different devices that we're going to have in our connected homes. Z-Wave is a great way to get things off your network. So if you have fixtures that maybe you don't necessarily you know, want to change color with the RGB or any of those kind of smart bulbs, you just want on-off or on-off dim up and down. Z-Wave is another great option, but you have to have a hub. And the cool thing about Z-Wave is that every device you add, it increases the size of the network. So you have a switch, you know, downstairs. You're having a certain distance that's, I guess, broadcasting that Z-Wave network. You add a second, it just makes the system larger and more reliable. But do you have to power cycle things once in a while? Like everything, yes. Every now and then, it just happens. You have to. So just keep that in mind. Nothing is perfect when it comes to this stuff. But I do like the Wi-Fi protocol. Now that I've upgraded my network, I can add more devices. So I have about 100 devices. And I'm going to add these today. I have the standard switch, which I just showed you guys that I reviewed the other day. That's just on or off. And then, of course, the dimming version. The only problem is with this, which I don't know why they chose to do this, it looks completely different than your standard on-off version of this. So single pole, single switch, completely different looking switch. Looks like it's a completely different brand. It is still Teckin, but they have a different indicator light down here on the bottom. It's just more of a power symbol. And of course you have your status for as far as the brightness level, as far as how maximum brightness or minimum brightness. It is compatible with Smart Life, which is an app I use on pretty much from 99% of my devices. Even the way it clicks is different. It's more of a silent click compared to its I guess little sister here, or little brother, however you want to word it. This has got a real distinct audible click. This one here, quiet, a little more quiet. Again, different indicator light, and of course different switch itself. There's like a ledge around this. Again, it's personal preference on which you prefer, but if you were putting these in side by side, it's to be noted that I would want things to match. So this would bother me if I had these on the same wall panel. It just looks like it kind of looks like you half-assed it. So again, not a big deal. I mean, it doesn't necessarily bother me, but I will say it does bother me enough that I am kind of going to move a couple switches around in my home to put this somewhere where it's nowhere near some switches that might, again, it's not, everybody's different. I'm just kind of picky like that. Not a huge deal. If I didn't have this switch, I wouldn't be pulling out switches. But being that I do have the switch, I'm going to put this somewhere where it's just all by itself, where it's not quite as noticeable that I have, you know, one wall with two switches and they're completely different. So again, if you're retrofitting a whole house to stuff, you want to have you're going to pick one brand. You want things to match on the ones that are dimmable or not dimmable. I'd probably just go with the dimmable ones if that's a concern, but they don't match. So keep that in mind. I don't know why they did that. Maybe, I'm sure after the video they'll explain it. But again, these videos are raw, unedited, uncut. And I'm being honest with you, that's just something that does bother me. As far as the switch, I do like the white kind of matte finish. However, all my switch plates in my house are not white matte finish. They're high gloss. So that's something that if you're, you know, if you want to use their wall plate, which matches, this is actually kind of a matte white. It's not a bright white. It's more of an eggshell white. Again, I'm not really sure. I'm sure the company, after seeing the video, will send me an email and just say, hey, this is the reason why. But I want to come out, you know, I don't want to talk to them first. I want to do the video first so you guys see my initial reaction and things that do kind of confuse me a little. Other than that, I'm sure the switch works fine. I'm not sure how the indicator light works yet. I'm pretty sure that that power button will be on when you turn the switch on. And then, of course, your brightness level will be, I guess, stationary, showing you where the brightness is. I will put a note in the description showing you guys exactly how that works and how it illuminates, because that has been kind of an issue. People buying stuff online, it's not something you just plug in, oh, I don't like it, return it. You have to install it or pay somebody to install it. So you want to know exactly what it looks like before installing it. I'm just going to go ahead and go their listing right now for this product and just take a quick peek at what it looks like. Sorry, I heard a noise there. It looks like that the illumination part of it for your brightness, this will be green. So that doesn't match any of the ones I have. All the ones I have are white. Not really a big deal unless you're trying to match things. So I don't know about the power button. They only show this device. Let's see here. They only show this device as just having the green LEDs lit. What I'm assuming is that it's kind of similar to the one switches I already have downstairs. I'm assuming that it's going to always show you the illumination level. So if you're on 50% brightness or 100 or, you know, down to 10, it's going to always show that. It's always going to be on. But then when you turn the light on, the power indicator will come on or off. I'm assuming it's probably going to be green as well, so keep that in mind. Again, I will update it and put a note on there. As far as the features, everything else is the same like most switches. On, off, brightness up and down. Some switches are a little bit different in the app. I will put an update. Some switches allow you to set minimum brightness, so when you run your finger right down as you're flying by the switch, some will go completely off. One of the other ones I have in the kitchen, by Lumari, which is fantastic, when you can set that minimum brightness. So if you want to slide that switch all the way down and have that be 75% brightness, you can. It won't go dimmer. So that's a pretty cool feature. That's the only switch I've seen that does that. Hopefully this one does it as well, because I think that's a real great feature. Again, I will add that in the description. And as always, guys, if you have any questions, comments, these are little things, but little things that if you're going to spend your own hard-earned money on stuff to put in your home, you know, color of light, color of LED might be an issue. Whether it's on or off might be an issue. Color when it's on or off might be an issue. The cosmetics, all these things, really the cosmetics plays a big role in installed smart switches because they're out in the open and you can see them. So that is what I found, what I've learned is, you know, in my journey of smart home tech. Wall sockets, for the most part, they're down low. You plug them in, they're kind of hidden. They're out of sight. You plug your lamp into it, you don't really notice they're there. With switches, they are out in the open. So if you're going to go, you know, if you live in a house where you have black switches, there's not a lot of options out there for different color switches. Most of them are white. So just kind of keep that in mind. You know, when you're doing this kind of stuff, cosmetics is a big issue. If you don't care, then no big deal. But for me, I do. So as far as the features, pretty much standard across the board. Again, brightness on, off, dimmable. Scheduling, you can set days, times, different, whatever you want. I believe this one will have dusk to dawn. You can set that in the app as well. Timer countdown, so if you want to go ahead and set a timer on your app, you're reading, you want the lights to automatically turn off in 30 seconds and not have anything to do with your scheduling, that's totally fine. I don't recommend you using these devices for until I get more clarification on ceiling fans. If you do it at your own risk. Always hire an electrician. Always let an electrician decide, that kind of stuff. And for exhaust fans in a bathroom, those tend to draw a lot more wattage. So again, it's going to be, just kind of keep this for lighting right now. If your electrician says it's good to go, then again, that's on him. That's about it. They are FCC approved. You have 24-hour customer service if you have an issue. 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi compatibility. They are compatible with Amazon Smart Home Assistant and of course the Google Assistant. I don't even mention Apple anymore because I don't even use Apple on anything. And that is really about it. That's all that can be said about it. As far as, and I don't know if I mentioned this already, but as far as the maximum output, so as far as the device you're going to be hooking up, maximum load you can put on this, 250 watts LED or CFL and 430 watts on incandescent. So that's about it, guys. Pretty straightforward. Pretty cool switch by Teckin. Again, a company that's been around for longer than a lot of the other brands out there. So I always kind of, it's another, I guess, benefit to buying a Teckin wall switch. Again, not saying other brands aren't good. I use other brands, but it is a brand that's been around a little longer. You do have a little bit of brand stability, brand recognition. That might be important to you. Again, maybe not. I've used all different kinds of brands, and all the stuff works pretty good. Price point on these, really competitive, $23 shipped to your door. I would say if you're going to hook up a device to, if you know that you're not going to be moving or selling your home or any stuff, and you know that you're going to be putting these in, maybe you're not really 100%, maybe you're building a home, you're not really sure exactly where you want to have these switches. I always say add a dimming switch like this because they really function just like a standard switch. They're not like a slide dimmer. Even if you put something that's not, don't put it on, I wouldn't say put it on an outlet, because you don't put a dimmer on a wall outlet, because then if somebody plugs in radio to that, and next thing you know you're dimming it, you could damage the device. So only put these on devices where you know that you're going to have a light, fixtures mainly. You're not going to go plug your stereo or cell phone into your fixture, or God, I hope not. So keep that in mind. There is a purpose for each one, but again, they don't match. So hopefully I get more clarification on that at a later date. But anyway, stay tuned for their three-way setup. I'll be reviewing that later on today. That one I won't be installing today. I have to kind of figure out something I've done with my wall or my wiring on one of my circuits, which I'll come back and I basically took a three-way setup and convert it to a two-way because I wanted to use a timer. Now that I have this with the built-in timers, I want to replace that. So I have to figure out how to rewire that again. So at a later date, no big deal. If you do have any questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to ask. I'm always here to try to help you. Always check out Teckin's email address if you want to get information directly from the manufacturer. Although I think I touched base on most of the feature action benefits of this thing. Also keep in mind 4.5-star ratings on Amazon. That's pretty good. Pretty good. No issues. And the fact that they are FCC approved. And so I always like, that's peace of mind. Anything that's installed, electrical, definitely want to go with something that has been approved by the FCC. That's what the listing says. I assume that is correct. So thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you like the content. As always, have a wonderful day and take care.